Personally, I strongly believe that schools should require students to join physical tests like jogging or resistance training. I remember when my school held weekly running sessions and it really helped me stay healthy and focus in class. On top of that, physical tests can encourage discipline and teamwork among students. For example, during group jogging, we learn to motivate each other and build strong friendship. As you can see, mandatory physical activities make students not only stronger but also more active and cooperative. The reading passage announced a new rule that limit consecutive dormitory visit to 1 hour. The university says this change will help students focus more on their studies and reduce distractions in rooms. In the conversations, the man disagreed with this idea. He thinks the rule is unnecessary and too strict. He explained that students are adults who can manage their own time. He also mentioned that some students study together during dorm visits, so this rule could make it harder for them to collaborate. In conclusions, the man strongly opposes the new policy because it limits freedom and makes student life less comfortable. According to the reading, hilltopping is a mating behavior found in many insect species. It happens when males climb to the top of hill to attract females and compete with other males. This behavior shows their strength and kinetic fitness, giving them a better chance to reproduce. In the lecture, the professor delves deeper into this subject by explaining that male Agana butterflies fly to mountain peak above 2,500 meters. They stay there and compete with other males for the best territories where they can meet females. He goes on to state that tarantula hawk was also saw the same behavior. Large males often occupy higher spots, but mating can still occur at lower elevations. So after listening, I now have a better understanding of how hilltopping helps stronger male insects attract mates more successful. The lecture is about how and why businesses build social and economic connection with their customers, which is important customers' loyalty and company growth. First, the professor mentioned that businesses create social connection by using real human interaction. For example, when customers are assisted by actual staff instead of chatbots, they feel more comfortable and confident. This friendly communication helps build trust and long-term loyalty. Second, the professor goes on to say that economic connections are built through rewards such as discount or coupon. For example, when customers receive a coupon, they are more likely to return to the same store, increasing sales. So after listening, I now have a better understanding of how businesses use both social and economic strategies to attract and retain customers. Personally, I strongly believe that having relaxed environment at work is much better than working under pressure. I remember when I worked on a group project at university. Since everyone felt calm, we shared ideas easily and finished the project early. On top of that, the relaxed atmosphere helps people stay motivated and creative. For example, my friend worked in office where the boss encouraged short break and the employees are happier and more productive. As you can see, relaxed environment help me perform better and enjoy my work more. The reading passage announced that the university will provide special funding to add more exercise machines in the gym. This change was made because students complained about the lack of machines and the school wants to promote a healthier lifestyle. In the conversation, the man disagreed with the proposal. He says the current gym is already fine and he never has to wait to use the equipment. He also explained that there are many other ways for students for exercise like swimming, running and sport teams. So that's why he opposes the university's plan. According to the reading, the law of diminishing returns is an economic principle that says when more of variable input, like labor, is added to a fixed input, such as capital, the extra output from each unit will eventually decrease. In the lecture, the professor expanded on this idea by giving an example. He explained that at first, adding more workers or materials increases productions, but after certain point, output grows more slowly. This happens because the fixed resources such as land or machine limit efficiency. So after listening, I now understand that the law of diminishing returns shows how adding more resources doesn't always lead to higher productivity. The lecture is about two programming styles, which are procedural programming and object-oriented programming. Procedural programming focuses on writing a series of steps or functions to perform tasks. First, the professor explained that in procedural programming, each function carries out a specific action, such as calculating numbers or reading files. For calculating example, a program might include separate procedures for input and output. Second, the professor mentioned that object-oriented programming organizes code around objects that include both data and functions. For instance, an object can reference a person with properties like name and address. So after listening, I now have a better understanding of how procedural programming focuses on action, while object-oriented programming focuses on object combining data and behavior.